Let me ask you this. At what point do you think Nigerians should stop waiting and stop listening to very articulate, slick spokesmen like yourself and start holding the government accountable?
In-depth analysis.
What specifically do you say they got wrong, potentially in that argument? Is the administration suffering from a perception problem or a performance problem?
It has more to do with the perception problem, but even the perception is shaped by social media as regards the fundamentals on ground, right? Because in social media, you can never defeat the obedient. I mean, there seem to be numerous, countless Trojans there. But it has been proven that social media is not a true reflection of reality. Now, but they have been here. You've interviewed them. You have asked them questions on facts and figures and fundamentals. They have not been able to successfully debunk our claim, not to talk of advance their cause. So, for example, they don't know. There are two sides to the issue. The fact that Nigerians are angry, if at all they are, with the president or the government, is not a sufficient proof that Nigerians will vote them. Because to vote you on what basis? That they are angry with us or that you have a better alternative. They have not been able till today, I pause, to be able to express that better alternative that they have. And with respect to my former boss, you even asked him the question about his strategy. And he said, why will I sit here and talk about my strategy? I have heard similar things from Peter Obi too. When you asked him security question, he said he keeps security to his chest. Do you have to? You see, discussing a strategy and implementation, point of action, are two different things. We are talking about your vision for Nigeria, your goal for Nigeria. Why you believe that this path President Tinubu is leading is not the path that is expected of Nigeria. But let me jump to Peter Obi. He said they were going to remove subsidy. And they did remove, as if he did not say he was going to remove subsidy. As if Alhaji Atiku Abubakar didn't say he was going to remove subsidy. But I don't want to say that Peter Obi was not in Nigeria. But he asked, where is the proceed of the subsidy? So I'm here to answer him correctly, succinctly, and carefully. Anambra, where he hails from, the governor has enjoyed increased revenue. That is why the governor has taken care of the medical environment in Anambra, that they didn't have to go on strike like they did when Peter Obi was the governor. If you look at the infrastructure in Anambra now, it's much more better than when Peter Obi was in power. Why? Because that governor enjoyed increased revenue, and that revenue is a byproduct of the fuel subsidy that we removed. Now, the governor is also paying salaries and is not deferring. That is because of the policy of President Tinubu. But we go beyond that to look at infrastructure all across Nigeria, including Anambra, where he comes from. That is where the money is. I believe he may not be aware of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. It is the proceed. What about 1 million Nigerians who ordinarily would not have had the opportunity to go to schools? Right now, they are in tertiary institutions because they have beneficiaries of the NEL Fund program. Has he probably called one or two persons from his locality and asked, is there anybody in my local government that has benefited from cesarean section or from dialysis, 50% subsidy on dialysis?
Let me just come in here, right. Because you've obviously spoken quite a lot. I mean, their argument has been that it's not just the issue. In fact, the problem in Nigeria is that too many people, we're graduating too many graduates, and they don't have any jobs.
Yeah.
So they're going to university. The quality of education is very low, and we're graduating them and not providing them with jobs. So that's a big potential problem.
But if that is his point, that is a fallacy. The reason is because these same people he felt were a product of poor education are the ones that are working in Dubai as doctors, as engineers. They are working in the United Kingdom and in the US, trained in Nigeria from quote unquote what you call the poor education. The people are not suffering because of over-education. It's because there is no economic activities in the country enough to create the environment for them to thrive. Government can never be the major employer of labor.
Yeah, but government has to stimulate the environment. And if that environment is not producing jobs, who do we blame?
No, so that is the policy. The policy we are implementing is working. That is why you see investors are coming back to Nigeria. You see small and medium enterprises rising. You see businesses expanding. And creating the job that is required. So the problem is, I think he has I don't know how to put it, but having more people educated is better than not having them
Right.
educated because you think there is no job for them to have.
One of the key issues raised by Peter Obi in that interview is electricity.
Right.
And that's arguably the backbone of any modern economy.
Right.
After more than a decade of APC governments, can you point to a clear, measurable increase in power generation and distribution capacity in this country?
Well, in terms of generation and distribution, there are parts of the country where you see that improvement. I mean, in the FCT, you don't have light problem. Probably people complain about the money, probably the tariff or the rate at which they pay the money.
Well, there is a light problem. I mean, we're in the FCT now.
Yeah, but where are you from?
There are
like where I stay, which is in the suburb.
Well, I mean,
where I stayed in the suburb,
work for the government.
I mean, in the suburb, government is not there.
Who knows what chums you've got?
So, but what I'm saying with respect to power, you have seen first, you have to create the legislative environment. That we have done, which now gave rise to the capacity of state, local government, and even the private sector to participate in both generation and distribution of power. That's the foundation, the baseline. Probably Peter Obi doesn't know it.
Look, as you know, Daniel, right, Nigerians are not measuring promises.
Right.
What they're measuring is hours of electricity.
Right.
Are they getting more power today than they were in 2015 or 2023?
I don't think that comparison of 2015 or 2023 is the issue, because if you talk about...
Well, it is the issue.
But if it is the issue, Nigerians have more power now than 2015.
Well, look, during the
stats are there.
Can I just make something?
Right.
Let me bring something to your attention. During the campaign, President Tinubu, well, actually, Mr. Tinubu at the time,
right,
made a very direct promise.
Right.
If I don't give you constant electricity in 4 years, don't vote for me when I come back for a second term. Nearly 4 years on, has he delivered on that promise?
Nigerians will vote when the time comes, and I'm coming.
I'm asking you a straightforward question. Right. It's not a matter of whether Nigerians will vote or not. Very straightforward. If I don't give you constant electricity, in fact, hold on a second. Can we just hear that clip, please?
Whichever way, by all means necessary, you must have electricity, and you will not pay for estimated bill anymore. A promise made will be a promise kept. If I can't keep the promise and I come back for second term, don't vote for me.
What's your reaction to that?
He hasn't come for second term yet. And I have told you the progress. No, I have told you the progress we have made. First, legislative framework. Secondly, recently he signed an order for reform in that power sector.
Do you know how long it takes for power to take effect?
No, don't worry.
What I'm saying is that we're now in April.
Yeah.
The elections are going to be taking place in January.
Right.
Are we going to have the promise that he made fulfilled by that time?
What I'm telling you, and I think that you are changing, or you want me to refresh my answer.
I'm just asking you questions.
I am saying you asked us to wait and you play the tape and want me to react to the tape.
Yeah.
And I'm saying we have not come to the second time when Nigerians will decide whether he has made that promise available for them to vote for him or not.
Is it difficult for you to defend this? But you can be honest.
No. I mean, okay, I'm coming. Did he say in the third year, if you don't see electricity, don't vote? But Nigerians don't have the capacity to vote now. There will be a voting time.
Right.
But the progress we have made in the power sector, like I've told you, is that one, we were able to lay the foundation for a legislative framework. Two, we have gone beyond that because there are different parts of Nigeria where people are generating and distributing the electricity. Three, the fundamental problem confronting the power sector, which has been bills not paid over the time. You see, you have to create any investment opportunity or any business without return on investment will discourage investors. Power sector in Nigeria has been one of those businesses or sectors where people were reluctant to invest because they can see there are so many people who have invested and monies were not paid. He has taken the initiative to ensure that these people's monies
You
are
see,
paid.
Daniel, I understand the point you're making, and the points you're making are very reasonable. But from the point of view of the ordinary person on the street in Nigeria, he made a promise. If I don't give you constant electricity, adequate electricity, don't vote for me for a second term.
Right.
Now, there could have been things that got in the way, obviously. I mean, that's, we can't be unreasonable.
Yeah.
There are things that get in the way, but as far as that promise is concerned, he has not fulfilled it.
And
has
I
he?
am saying this your question should have been deferred to the election time when Nigerians will vote. And then you
Okay.
ask me,
Okay,
Daniel,
we'll
should
defer
they
it.
money,
We'll
money?
defer it.
I want the opposition, Peter Obi and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, so many issues that they raise.
We'll defer
so
it
can
to
be
election
bungled.
time. But look, let me ask you something else that is quite crucial, which I'm sure you know, because you mentioned power, and you correctly said that the country can't really
But you
move.
don't want to talk about Atiku and Peter Obi because that was what I thought.
No, because
There are so many issues that need to be
That's what I'm
debunked.
saying. These are another issue they raised was insecurity. I mean, we've seen continued attacks.
No, they say we wanted to make it a one-party
No,
state,
we're
which is fundamental.
we're gonna. That's a different. I mean, they talked about different things. Security is one of them. Growing concern, even internationally, about the security situation in Nigeria. Do you accept their contention that security has deteriorated under this government?
I do not. And I think that the Minister of Defense was on your show just a few
Yes,
days
he was,
ago,
yeah.
where he gallantly and most profoundly lay out the security progress that we've made. And he told you that we're winning the war. But if I ask you, these guys would respect these candidates or aspirants, what have they said all this time about security alternative to what we're doing?
Well, one of the things.
What role have they played
Yeah.
in ensuring that the Nigerian people are not plunged into deeper problem, other than to feed off of their misery for political end?
Well, I mean, the honest truth is that I'm not a spokesman for them. But one of the things that they've pointed out, that a lot of Nigerians have pointed out, is what appears to be a lack of empathy on the part of this government for people who are victims of insecurity on a daily basis. And that is not just coming from them, it's also coming from places where there's been active insecurity in this country. But let me move on because we're running out of time, because one of the things you wanted to talk about was the democratic space.
Which is what is their agenda at the moment to get the sympathy
Well,
of
let me
the
ask you the
international
question.
community.
Let me ask you the question first. Peter Obi accused this government of shrinking the democratic space. Atiku Abubakar says this is the worst government Nigeria has ever seen in that regard. Are these political exaggerations, or do they reflect deeper institutional concerns in this country?
It is not just that it is political exaggeration and also the fallacy of generalization. It is also the expression of ineptitude and lack of deeper understanding of the situation. Or the fourth one, which is using it for political reason in order to get the sympathy. Why? Because one, Peter Obi is the most undemocratic element that I have known since 1999. All of the places where Peter Obi has moved to, he never wanted any democratic primaries. He wanted a party that would adopt him singularly as the candidate of the party. When his party, Labour, had a crisis and he was required as a leader to participate in finding solution to the problem, he ran away. He always runs from responsibility. I will take you that part of responsibility to show that. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, my former leader, I think the issue that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has is like somebody who has been successful over the years, has played football, and now is retiring. So the father time is what I worry about Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, because he has democratic credentials since the rise of democracy in Nigeria to suggest that he has been participating. Now, father time is terrible because father time takes away the glory of your prime. If you are not careful, father time can undo everything you have done. We see that in football, where a player is supposed to retire at a certain time. He insists he wants to play with the club. They start benching him, and from starting to bench him, then you find out that he's no longer relevant in that field. That is what is happening. But let me draw the two of them and put them on responsibility. You see, what they are suffering from is the lack of responsibility in developing what? An opposition. No opposition in any country of the world is developed by self-centeredness or selfishness. Every one of them wants to be a president. So they have not been able to have one good meeting in which they will agree on anything. And I want to predict
Well,
to you today.
I think you're jumping the gun.
No. I will predict
because
to
they
you
haven't quite got to that stage yet.
But I predicted 6 months they will be in crisis, and they are. I want to give you another prediction. Peter
Well,
Obi,
they believe you're inducing the crisis.
No.
But that's
how?
a different story.
Peter Obi is not even going to run in that platform. Mark it, and then we'll come back to it. But my point is,
Right.
Peter Obi, I'll round up. Peter Obi he's a nomadic politician. I mean, he's the MVP of nomadic politics.
Well, you made that point just a minute
So he's
ago.
jumping every now and then to everywhere he will get the ticket. He has never cared about the Nigerian people. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar watched under his nose all the governors taken away from him. So because you all were not able to manage your situation, you see, the sheep will, he say, he making me to lie down in green pasture. These governors that they had as structures are the ones that have come to Asiwaju. How can you see the progress Asiwaju is making and say there is a stifling
Anyway,
of
look,
opposition in Nigeria?
we unfortunately we're out of time, so I can't really get into that
I
heavily.
had 3 minutes, they both have one hour.
hold on.
Everyone,
They didn't have
you're
1 hour.
supposed to give me 2 hours.
Now, let me ask you one final question before we go. You've talked about Atiku Abubakar as your boss, your former
boss, yeah. And I still respect
You
him.
were once aligned with him. Now you're defending the Tinubu administration. What changed? Your convictions or your political calculations?
I have answered that, I think,
I know, but I want you to answer it again because Atiku appeared on this program and you're here critiquing.
And he appeared for once. I have answered that. What in law we have what we call asked and answered. But let me even tell you this. From Atiku to Peter Obi to Rotimi Amechi and all of them, is that the first party they are running from? Do you know how many parties Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has changed? Have you asked him what changed? Peter Obi was here. He jumped from ABGA to PDP to Labour.
I asked them.
You asked him what had changed.
That's one of the reasons why you're bringing it up.
So when you asked them, what did they say?
I'm asking you.
So what did they say?
Never mind what they
How
said.
can I not mind? You called me to react to them. What did they say?
But you watched the program. You alerted me to the fact that you
Asked
watched
and
the
answered.
program. So my question to you is, what changed? Is it your convictions or your political calculations?
Both convictions, political calculation, and the need to push Nigeria forward.
Okay.